I'd say my only real hangups with this film are that it's a little bit too long, and the other thing is it's so unrealistic in terms of like the violence and just like the things these characters go through without getting much of a scratch. It's ridiculous. This little girl gets thrown through a glass window and she's totally fine, and like everything Ryan Gosling's character goes through, and yeah, at one point he even lampshades and he says he must be invincible because of like all the things that are hurting him, and it's like he doesn't get a scratch. It's so ridiculous in that way. But, and as I said, it does go on a little bit too long. But honestly, this is a hilarious film, and if you haven't seen it, you really need to check it out. In fact, that's most of the reason I made this list in the first place, just to recommend this film to you guys in particular. But with that said, there's still three more films to go, and they're even better. Number three. All right. Number three. La La Land. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Nobody was more excited for this movie than I was. You wanna know why? Because the director and writer, Damien Chazelle, wrote and directed my previous favorite film of all time, Whiplash. Because Damien Chazelle, the writer and director of this film, previously wrote and directed my favorite film of all time, Whiplash. Thus, I was pretty excited to see him do an original musical, and for the most part, it was pretty good. And for the most part, it paid off. This is an amazingly well directed film, complete with great performances, which might be a little bit overrated. Like, I don't think Ryan Gosling should be nominated for an Oscar for his performance personally, but he was good in The Nice Guys, so I'll say let's give it to him anyway. And Emma Stone is great as well. Maybe not Oscar win worthy, but definitely nomination worthy. But the main thing about this film is just how well filmed. I love the music, I love the atmosphere, I just love the visuals, just everything about this film comes together in such a beautiful way. Now, I wouldn't say it's a perfect film. It has some flaws. Some scenes are a little slow, some parts are just not that great. Honestly, the sound mixing in the opening song is just terrible, quite frankly. It's a great song, but it's just yeah, no, the you can't even hear what they're singing. I don't know. Everything ever is. And there's this one scene. And probably my biggest hang up with the movie is pretty much the same big problem I have with Moana. There's this one scene where they're having a fight, and Ryan Gosling just said these nasty. Honestly, my biggest problem with this movie is probably the same problem I have with Moana. It's like there's this one scene where Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are like fighting, and he says this really nasty thing to her that just comes out of nowhere, and then it's like, okay, you know what? This is the part where people would apologize, but no, he just says something even nastier after that. It's like, dude, what? Whatever. But so that part kind of bugs me, and I don't know how I feel about that. And also, there's the fact that the movie kind of forgets to be a musical for like most of the second half, and it's like I can excuse that because that's the part where reality is starting to set in, and there's really no more music in their lives because their dreams and their relationships being tested. So yeah, okay, I'll buy it. I don't have to like it, but it makes sense. But honestly, those are really the only hangups I have. And there's a ton of little details that I don't not and there's a ton of little details I could nitpick, but for the most part, I just can't get enough of this film. The ending in particular is probably the best ending of the year and one of my favorite endings to any film ever. It's gut-wrenching, but it's satisfying. And that's just hard to find, and that's incredible, honestly. Just like Moana, I've seen this 5 times, and it just gets better and better the more I see it. Number two, Fences. Maybe I'm a little biased because I like plays, and this is clearly just a play that has been filmed, basically. It doesn't really have like big production values or anything. They're just talking nonstop in a house, and that's the whole movie. But you know what? This is a damn good play movie hybrid thing. All right, this is the acting from Denzel Washington and Viola Davis is incredible and definitely Oscar worthy. It's just insane just seeing these people and seeing them. It's just insane seeing this drama unfold and seeing this powerful stuff on screen in front of you. And it's like it has the intimacy of a play, but like on the big screen. And that's really incredible how they managed to capture that so well. I don't know. There's not that much to talk about with this film, honestly. It just captivated me from beginning to end. And I just there's not really that much to say about this film. It's just an amazingly well done play. And yeah, it doesn't have standard film production values, but it captivated me from beginning to end and I was like with it emotionally. I cried and all that. I mean, I cried at La La Land too, and I cried when I heard Lin singing in Moana, but still this film is just insanely powerful and I just loved every minute of it. So yeah, and again, maybe that's just because I like plays and I like where the dramat. But yeah, definitely check this one out. It is well worth it. One last thing about the Nice Guys though, before I move on, it is a hard R, like Deadpool level R. So if you're a child, don't watch it. And even if you're a teenager, maybe like I don't know, wait till you're 18, maybe. Honestly, it is a hard R and it's fantastic, so watch it if you're like an adult. And number one, and my number one favorite movie of 2016 is Hacksaw Ridge. This is an amazingly well done war movie, and yeah, it's Mel Gibson directing, and honestly, the Oscars have forgiven him. I think maybe we should forgive him, honestly. I think enough time has passed, and he is an incredible director. Andrew Garfield shines as this conscientious objector in World War II who's basically saving the lives of 75 different people during the Battle of Okinawa at Hacksaw Ridge or something like that. I don't even know. This film is so intricately directed, and it's like this huge tonal shift from this beautiful life that he has with his girlfriend he meets, and then it just goes into this dramatic story about him in the army and not wanting to shoot or even carry a gun. And then it just goes to full on brutal, bloody war, and it's like, yeah, that's how war is, You think, oh, it's just gonna be this, thing about comrades and stuff. No, it's brutal, and that it's shown really well. And Gibson just directs the nice scenes, the pleasant scenes with him and his girlfriend, and then him in the army where it's like kind of fun and stuff and whatever, and his struggle there. But then it just goes into full blown insane, some of the best war I've ever seen filmed, honestly. It's wonderful. It's inspiring. Just seeing him saying, just let me get one more, and just praying about that. It's just amazing. You're with this character, even though I didn't personally agree with him. And they like explain both sides of the argument pretty well. But at the same time, you're invested in him because he's like an amazing, because he believes so passionately in what he's doing. So it's like you're invested in the character, even if you don't agree with him. It's just an amazing, astounding, well done film. And honestly, it's my favorite film of 2016. So those are my picks. And yeah, not all of them are going to win Oscars because not all of them are nominated. But even so, definitely check all these movies out. And I will see you guys next time. What's next time? Well, a certain game's coming out in a few days. So we're going to talk about that series.